Ah, the holidays. A time for giving, a time for getting, and a time for going and going.
And going, and going, and going, and going.
When you need a break, we're here, helping you make sense of all the good and the going of the holidays. Happy holidays from all of us at ubnradio.com.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate, to live, love, laugh, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Fay on ubnradio.com.
And welcome. You are listening to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon on Universal Broadcasting Network out of the Sunset Gower Studios, and every Thursday now out of my newly syndicated NBC News Radio channel KCAA AM 1050 every Thursday at 7 p.m. PST for your commute home. And this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words. Kardashian talk. Instead, I encourage you, as Dr. Marissa, your cheerleader and your midlife crisis interventionist, unless you really want a Corvette, to open your own life, your own reality show, and see how you can be happy 88% of the time. And if you have missed any of my past episodes, I have some fabulous past Oprah guests, Fran Drescher, Don Miguel Ruiz, Dr. Pat Allen, Dr. John Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Please do visit me at my website, the number 4, balance.org, as well as on iTunes, just Dr. Marissa Pay, or on YouTube. And I'm so pleased to continue to see the numbers of views grow. Unbelievable. We're at the end of this year. Happy New Year, by the way. And last year I had like 300 views, and this year we are at over 19,000 views. So thank you, my listeners, Dr. Marissa listeners, for my YouTube viewers. And of course, my regular listeners, over 40,000 now, as well as podcast downloaded almost 400,000. So I am so grateful as I reflect on this last year and just know that everything will continue to go, and that the only reason why the numbers are so are because you, like me, are all about hope and happiness, and we want to get rid of the CNN, the constantly negative news, and balance out so that everyone can get on this positive joyride of life. And it is that time of the month. It is the last week of the month, and I'll give you a hint on what we're going to talk about today. Marvin Gaye. Yes, it is Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa, the new Asian Dr. Ruth. And today we are so blessed to have a friend of mine, actually, who used to be a host. Actually, he's coming back on UBN Radio, but he is doing some amazing things. David Cruz, Finding Cupid, is now finding dates for the Bravo hit special called Millionaire Matchmaker with Patty Stenger, who, by the way, is a student of Dr. Pat Allen, who's been on my show for 3 times. And Pat Allen also is my romance coach and Patty's romance coach, and also does therapeutic interventions of the X-rated kind on the show. So without further ado, please welcome to my studio, Mr. David Cruz.
Oh, hello. Hi.
Hi, darling.
I miss you so much.
Oh, I miss you too.
It almost feels like it's been many years.
It
but
does.
I mean, a year is still too long. That's the last time I saw you.
I know. I was on your show,
I
and I had a
know.
great time there.
Aw.
Being very un-Dr. Marissa-like, if I remember.
Well, you got to be that way sometimes. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
On this last week of the year.
Yes, the sexual healing, where we get to talk about pleasure, because I'm determined to make pleasure a G-rated and a G-spot rated topic.
We'll try.
Yes. So you've been in the business of romance And with romance, the sex, and with sex, the pleasure.
Yeah.
And all about finding people for people.
Yes.
And this is something that you actually do professionally.
Yes.
Okay.
So, the thing, with romance, of course, everyone wants the spark, the heat, the passion.
Yes.
And of course
Chemistry.
they play, the chemistry that
Yes.
goes hand in hand, But, sometimes people have it without it. Sometimes people have love and want to sacrifice chemistry and passion, or vice versa. But we can have both.
Yes, I was just going to say sacrifice. That's not in my
I know.
vocabulary.
And that's where we try to teach people.
Okay. Now, I have heard, though, that that thrill of victory is almost always followed by the agony of defeat.
No, I hope not. Not in the bed, at least.
But that obsessive kind of passion, it doesn't hold up, literally and figuratively, pun intended, and it doesn't last month. I said it was a hard nut to swallow by accident. But okay, so it doesn't stay up. Okay,
You're on a roll here.
And it usually leads to heartbreak. In fact, my daughters were tuned on their channel and there's a new song by Taylor.
Yes.
On burning or going down
Blank
in
space.
flames. That's it. That just talks about that whole, it's not really love unless it leaves you damaged.
Right.
Yeah. So talk to me about, is it possible to have that chemistry and that and your butterflies and sustain that,
Yes.
number one,
Mm-hmm.
and two, in a non-sexual addiction destructive way?
Gotcha. Well, to answer the question right off the back, yes, it is possible to have that. Two things you got to remember is that you're two different people, and you're in a relationship, which is the third person in bed with you guys.
Okay.
And when you're together for so long, you're so comfortable. And we talk about this in a lot of relationships, that have gone on past the 3-year itch mark. And
I thought it was a 7-year itch.
well, some
It's
people
gone
have
down
3
now?
years. This is the
Mine's like the 3-week itch.
well.
That's probably why I'm single.
Yeah, there's a pill for that. I'm catching up to you. I'm catching up to you.
You are.
Well, the thing is, today, relationships are disposable. As quickly as they are attainable via websites and apps and everything, they're disposable as well. So when we talk about relationships and how quickly you get comfortable, that time is it's not a 7-year itch anymore. It's down to 3.
Wow.
And because people think that they can, if there's a problem, they can get out of it. And that's usually about 3 years. You're comfortable. And maybe you're too comfortable.
Wait. 3 years, you're comfortable and you can get out of the relationship,
That's
out
what
of it?
people think.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
I can divorce. All the celebrities are doing it. There's not good enough sex, or this isn't happening, or that's not happening. So when
Or I deserve better.
I deserve better because I see better. You know, the
Right.
grass is always greener effect. It hits you when you're least, expecting it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. When you're in a relationship, you forget sometimes about the you and the other person. So there's 2 yous in there. And sometimes you get comfortable. Some people gain weight, or they call it relationship weight. Some people stop doing things that they're passionate about. And then all of that passion that they used to have coming into that relationship goes away. So now what I always tell people is you can still be passionate as long as you're passionate. And when you forget how to be passionate yourself as an individual, everything else goes away. So, the people that gain weight, they're like, I got to get back into the gym. And remember when I first started dating him or dating you,
Right.
I was this sexy whatever person. But then you forgot. But that's on you. You have to take you back. You have to own you. And with that becomes this person that you remember. You connect with that inner single person again. And that's sexy to the other person.
Okay. So I'm thinking about a couple that gets together because they are both not at their best place, and then
Sure.
one of them decides to get in their best place and starts feeling good and outgrows the other one.
It happens,
Mm-hmm.
but a good relationship should support each other.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what they say, you need to be saying, hey, I love you, but hey, let's do this for us. Because let's face it, when we get older, things just stop, they stop working.
We're not going there.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
like
just
not my
saying.
favorite topic at all.
But, listen, I'm 38 this year, and, I've been having this thing with my
Aw.
knees, and I'm like, God, this is
Yeah.
part of this. But preventatively speaking,
Mhm.
as we take care of the rest of our body parts, we can also be preventative with our sex life, our relationship.
Okay.
So just the thing is, you can still have that spark. Just don't forget about you. And when you start, do everything that you can to reconnect with you,
Okay.
including your partner.
So instead of pointing the finger of blame, or what I call the Reagan salute.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That's the Reagan salute.
Not me.
No. To look at your side of the street first.
Yeah, and it's a partnership thing. You're in this relationship, so you got to support each other.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing that, you should be wanting that for the other person.
I got that.
Okay.
However,
Okay.
moose on the table, middle, trying to find that middle ground.
Okay.
So some people stay way too long.
Sure.
Okay. So, but if you're saying that every relation comes together, and to maintain and work at that relationship, when is work too much work? When is work too much work? Because
Sure.
that is one of those questions I get asked all the time, and I ask myself. I'll start dating someone, and things are good, and
Yeah.
they're with the "Hey, beautiful," and compliments, and "You're so hot," and then like, "Hey,
Yeah. Nothing.
are you free?" Going from and then or finding things out about that person that you didn't know, or
Yeah.
at what, where, and then people will always say, "Yeah, but Marissa, relationships are work."
Yeah.
And I go, "Why? Why do they have to be so much work? And isn't it a sign at the beginning, if it's already a lot of work and you're in your first week?"
Okay. Yes. Oh, in the first week, that is a red flag for sure.
Okay.
You shouldn't be fighting. You shouldn't be trying to figure out, what movie is the best movie to go to and why you're choosing movies, and then, layer after layer after layer, because that's a deep-seated issue that you're working on. It's not about the movie.
Right,
So
right.
it shouldn't be. I agree with
Okay,
you.
okay.
If you're, 10 years down the line and you're trying to put things back together and you're trying to reconnect, that's one thing. 1-2 weeks, no. That's I agree.
Okay,
Shouldn't
so
be work.
and then trying to find that middle ground between, how long should relationships last? If we go to the past and we go to the religious factor and marriage till death do us part, as long as we both shall live. Okay, I think that has led to a lot of marriages that stayed together
Yeah.
way too long, and
Yes.
and then it's not good for them and it's not good for the kids. But then on the other hand, I think we're swinging way to this other end where it's like you were saying, you get the 3-year itch or the 3-month itch or the
Right.
3-week itch, and if it doesn't work, then it wasn't meant to be, and I'm out of here. So
Right.
that's the other extreme. So I have serial monogamy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm,
Which is good sometimes because there's a lot of crazy out there.
That's true. I saw a great thing on Facebook. It says the reason why I'm single, the reason why I'm so hot and still single is because I'm really good at recognizing crazy.
It's true.
So
I can see crazy coming a mile away.
There you go.
Oh my
but
gosh.
I almost had a psychic boyfriend, but he broke up with me before I met him. Sorry.
You're on a roll.
I am. It's the rain, I guess. It's the new year. It's the end of
Yes.
the old year, bringing in the new year.
Yes, yes.
So that extreme we don't want. The serial is at the first sign of red flag. I'm
Right.
gone. So the middle balance. How do you match
Yes.
people? On what indices do you see them more successful in staying?
Well, I'll answer this in 2 parts.
Okay.
I come from the school of black and white. Sometimes Patty hates it when I'm like this. She likes to blame my Virgoisms, but that's the way I operate. It's black and white. The same with any sort of relationship and partnership, say at work. You work at that because there is something in this person that you value. There's something that they bring to the table. They love you, all these things, right? So if there's a challenge, you communicate.
Right.
And let's talk about, a work scenario first.
Okay.
So you sit down, you have conversations, you communicate.
Yes.
If it continues,
The C word.
Yes. See, every level of life has the C word.
Yes.
But you communicate. If it becomes an issue, you have write-ups. Whatever those are in a personal relationship, it is a serious focus on a deficiency that must be corrected.
Okay.
A corrective
Performance
action.
needed.
Yes.
Yes.
So whether that's couples therapy or a sit-down conversation that's not over dinner or with wine or anything like that, you're trying to fix a relationship problem, a bump in the road. And when it finally, if you're working too much, and this is where we go back to what you were saying, when is enough enough?
Yes.
And relationships, no matter how great the candidate was in the beginning in a business, sometimes it just wasn't a good relationship
Wasn't
together.
a good fit.
And they're terminated from that company eventually.
They are laid off, but not laid down. That
No. It's not the good kind of laid they end with. Well, and that's the thing. Same with relationships, I feel. It's like if you have put in enough communication and effort and work and trying, especially on one person's end, because there's always one person in a failing relationship that tries way too much.
Okay.
Then enough is enough. Then you draw the line in the sand. But where I want to correct everyone now is that don't try to skip the process of a relationship, because it is work.
Right.
It is.
Right.
It's work to communicate. It's work to find a level of agreement where, not everything is in your favor.
Right.
So it's work in that sense, but not work to talk to each other and to be around each other. Choosing paint colors should be the biggest work that you have. It's like, okay, you know what? We disagreed on that, but that's our greatest challenge. I can live with that.
Right. Right.
But you shouldn't go to divorce because you can't choose a
paint
color.
color.
Of
Well,
paint. Yeah.
But usually, whatever that straw that breaks the camel's back is not that item. It's a build up of. And here are the things that I have heard. The biggest breakups. And you tell me if this is important. If you would you ever set up a person who really wants to have kids with someone who really doesn't want to have kids?
No.
Okay, so that's one. One who is a born again Christian and a staunch Muslim.
No.
Okay, so religion, family status.
But if these people, and I have a dear family relative of mine who I've been trying to set up for so long, has that list. And will try to make it happen with the wrong people because it fits a majority of the list. So if you're trying to set yourself up with somebody who is opposite of a religion and you're not willing to convert to that religion, you're already setting yourself up for disaster.
Right. But okay, so now I'm going to go to a typical my school of setup, not setup, but okay. So most of my girlfriends who are single, okay, myself included, right now, and we want, and stupid as this sounds, it's like we want tall, and my tall girlfriend gets really mad at me. It's like, you're short. Why are you going after tall? So tall is not something that should be indicative of a person's, what really matters. But for some reason, I like tall men. I like the way that it feels. Okay. And then hot, right? Right. Most women want a hot man.
Sure.
So that's really, really good looking. When Fran Drescher was on my show, she said,
I
know, isn't she fabulous? Hi, Fran. She wanted 5 S's and she's now married. So single, straight, because that one ended up not being straight. And then sexy, smart, right? And successful.
Yeah. And
okay.
She got a good one.
And she got a good one.
Yes.
Hey, patent holder of email. I mean, can't get much more successful than that. I need to follow Fran around. But so most women would say that those are the 5 that they're looking for. I mean, you want those things, and most women wouldn't say, "Oh yeah, I want a guy that's not successful."
Right.
I want a guy who's dog, coyote ugly.
You're right.
I want a guy who has no sense of humor. So the list usually is a pretty generic, right? Of those things. And then they come and say they're not out there. Okay, the good-looking ones are either married with kids and happily married, or choosing to be happily married.
Sure.
And then the other good-looking ones, I remember, I'll never forget this one guy I dated, and he's very good-looking, and he sold used cars. And I said, have you ever wanted to, do anything else? And he said, darling, you're never going to find what you're looking for. You want a great-looking guy who has a great job, and you're not going to get it because it doesn't exist. The guys like me who are really good looking.
Did he say this?
Yes, he did.
Guys
we
like
were in
me.
a garage at the Newport. Yeah. So he goes, guys like me, we just, it's not that important, or, we're not gonna. So he goes, you choose. And then I go, well, I don't want either. I still am holding out for, and that's when Dr. Pat Allen jumps down my throat and yells at me all the time, because I still want that. I want to be cherished and respected.
Yes.
And she keeps telling me that I have to choose.
I agree. And I've worked so many times with Dr. Pat Allen, who is a hoot and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Love her to death.
Oprah calls her the comic mother superior.
That's a great label, because, I mean, she's a hoot. She really is.
Yeah.
Again, the list. I think as we get older and wiser, we understand what's most important. Mm-hmm. But there are things, hey, listen, I wanted to marry Brad Pitt yesterday, but that's not going to happen. But you have to figure out what's the most important thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying, the extreme of what people usually think I say when I say that, which is like marry an ugly guy with lots of money. I'm not saying that,
You're not?
No.
You're not? Okay, so is there a good-looking guy with money?
The trick is, does he want you?
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
So
let's jump into the show. If you've just tuned in, you are listening to Millionaire Matchmaker Extraordinaire, David Cruz, Finding Cupid, and he's a friend and a co-host, my guest co-host today. He has his own show as well, and we're talking about men and women, men and men, partners, romance, sex, relationships, and how to find the one that fits. We're going to take a quick break and go to commercial. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the money question. Since he is on Millionaire Matchmaker, I want to know, does money really matter? And what do guys with money want in a woman? Do I even qualify, as he just threw out there? So we'll be back in 2 and 2.
How do you prepare a young teen for the sexual culture they're growing up in today? Science teacher Dave Beck's hilarious and harrowing book, They Asked You What?, does just that. It gives the student, their parents, and teachers the knowledge and tools to deal with the reality of today's overwhelmingly sexual American culture. And it's a great, fun, thoughtful read. Read it yourself. Give it to your teen and/or their teachers. Available for Kindle download and softcover purchase at Amazon.com.
Did you know that women are capable of over 11 different kinds of orgasms, and yet 87% of women are sexually unsatisfied? Did you know that 9 out of 10 couples desire deeper intimacy in and out of the bedroom? If you desire more pleasure, better orgasms, and a more sacred sensual connection, visit DebbieWardTantra.com and get your free female orgasm guide to uncover the top 3 blocks preventing you from having the pleasure, intimacy, and orgasms you crave. That's DebbieWardTantra.com. Have you ever had a sweet potato cookie? Be the talk of the holiday table with Yam Good cookies and 4 unique tastes. All sweet potato with either pecan, ginger pecan, pineapple coconut, even topped with almonds. Available in West LA. So follow us on social media and visit www.yamgoodcookies.com to order. A holiday treat launched in the season of Thanksgiving that will now be enjoyed all year long. So have a Yam Good holiday.
And welcome back. I am Dr. Marissa, dubbed as the Asian Oprah, which just means I have to give stuff away at the end of the show, so stay tuned. And today we are blessed to have Mr. Finding Cupid, David Cruz, here from the Millionaire Matchmaker as well, to talk about sexual healing with Dr. Marissa. And we've been talking about romance and relationships and how hard is too hard, haha. And the last, you threw down with this last question. I asked, the really good-looking, successful men, do they exist? And he came back with, well, they exist, but are you what they want?
Exactly.
So please expound. Am I? Would I be?
You are 100% something of what somebody wants. The trick is finding that person, because that person could be going up to 6 foot tall models and saying, I don't like that. I don't like 6 foot tall, skinny. I want a girl who's has an Asian flair. I want a girl who, has an opinion, and all these things, which, knocks down a ton of people. You would be so surprised. There are people think they want models, but they don't, because models don't eat. Models don't cuddle. Models are good for one thing, sex. We all know this. Sure, sex. Why not?
This is my assistant producer's breaking up
Sorry.
over here. That's okay. He still wants a model, but
trust me, you'll get a model, and you'll find more pleasure with your dog. I'm just saying.
Wow, this is what you've learned from setting up Millionaires with Models?
Yes.
Oh.
We have cut through the fat so quickly. And people sometimes find that abrasive, but you know what? We just don't have time to mess around anymore. You know that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows this. I don't want to sit down on a blind date or a coffee meetup and then talk about BS all the time.
Right,
I want to get to the juice of this. Do you want a relationship? And not to say that you're going to say that right off the bat, because that'll leave them running for the hills.
Right,
but
right.
do you want kids? Like the important things.
Yeah.
And you've seen many even celebrities go through this. They have the most beautiful, great people. But do they end up marrying them? Not all the time.
So
it's the exception.
So there would be. So the question becomes: you're setting up people on this show, Bravo's hit show, Millionaire Matchmaker. If you haven't watched it, it's hilariously entertaining. I actually I TiVo very few shows.
Yeah.
But this is one that I do because I love watching the. Well, it's not the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, but just the process of meeting and thinking you know what you want.
Right.
There you go. So many of these male millionaires that I've seen and female think that they want exactly what I was talking about before.
Sure.
The tall, good-looking, successful, right?
Yep.
And then you meet and it doesn't go where it's supposed to go, or there's the chemistry's missing.
Sure.
All of that. So if I were a guy with money and they are coming on your show to get matched, at what point do you say, I want to meet a girl who isn't into me because of my money?
Right.
And then my response is, yeah, well then why are you on the show? Because it's obvious your net worth is going to be there. And
Right.
two, why not have it be about your money?
Well, here's the thing. Then people always get this confused or misunderstand this fact.
Yeah.
Millionaire Matchmaker is about our clients who we specialize in.
Right.
These are men who want to commit to the process, that have the money to do it, and want to hire an expert and her team to help do the work, to help go through the process of figuring out why they can be so successful in life and career, but not in their personal life.
Okay.
So we do a lot of the groundwork, of course. We go out and find, the men or the women who are our daters, and that's why they're on our show. That's why they come to the Millionaires Club, which is a real business. People don't understand that. And we help them. So we are not looking for, when daters come on the show, and I was a dater
Really?
in season 3. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
But I was a dater on season 3. We find people that are genuinely looking for relationships. And if there's any sort of, side gust of wind to a gold digger, they're out. And you've seen this on the show too. If we even get a sniff of a gold digger in there, they're out. And that's why we go through that vetting process. That's why it's so harsh, because we ask some questions. And this season we get really deep. We really go into the daters like you've never seen us do it before. To find out what makes them tick. Are they here for the right reasons? And if a client of ours isn't there for the right reasons, then they're also out. And people have seen that too. We've got to teach everyone how to date, how to be in relationships. And you can be successful in many ways, but it doesn't mean that you know what you're doing when it comes to finding a relationship. So we help people do that.
Right. So if someone says this is what I want, okay, so your millionaire says I want a tall model, very hot, and and I've seen you guys say no.
Well, no, because you're probably, and let's just use the numbers, you're probably a 5 wanting a 12, and quite honestly,
even with money.
We don't deal with them.
Okay.
We don't want the girl that just wants to be with him for the money. This
Okay.
is not about money ever. This is
Okay.
about relationships.
Okay.
We're in the business of love here.
Okay.
So, and especially with me, like I'm especially being new, but I'm very well versed in trying to figure out if somebody's in this for the right reasons.
But and then to balance myself out here,
Sure.
there's nothing wrong with money. I
No.
love money. I think money can do so many things. I mean, the show was built on money.
Sure.
A lot of the creative things I do, my piecework around the planet travel, is built on money, and money's a good thing.
Yeah.
So just to balance that whole question out, I think seeing money as just a component of that person,
Sure.
okay, and then just because you have money doesn't mean that you're generous.
Right.
True.
It doesn't mean
Right.
everything's going to, I mean, listen, I've dated my share of very rich men and nothing. Because why? Maybe they're looking for something else, and any woman can say this. They've dated rich men. And, if it gets you a fancy hotel and a few nice dinners, is that really what you want to marry?
Right,
That's all,
right.
because that's all you're getting.
Right. Okay. So then the women that say, I just want to match with me. And this is kind of a reflection of the shift that women have gone through. Ozzy met Harriet. We're not there anymore. Now we've got successful, hardworking women who don't necessarily have a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea who I'm talking about. and they want to have a relationship, but what can they hope for?
Well, we just got to find the right person. So someone probably...
So who
in
would
that
be the right
person's
person for
field.
me?
Oh, it's for
Okay,
you, not
yes,
a friend.
yes,
You're not asking for a friend. Oh, okay. So for you,
Yeah.
you want to find someone who comes from that same world or is in that same world, possibly someone who also does radio or TV, who understands your schedule,
Okay.
possibly someone that came from that world and doesn't do it anymore too. You need somebody that will understand, because you're a firecracker. You know what you want. You're going to go do it, and you're not taking any prisoners. So if you get someone that...
Not into bondage.
Yeah.
You said prisoner. I had to
I don't
just
know.
straighten that out.
Let me just say,
Okay, stop, David. Go the
50
other
Shades
way.
of Grey is coming out very soon, and I'm going to invest in
not
red
read-
ties.
I
I'm
have-
just saying.
I have not read that yet. I will.
It's the movie coming out.
Okay,
I'm just
okay.
saying.
I'll go watch it.
Bondage is the new love. I'm just kidding. The thing is, you got to find the right person. Sure, like tall, dark, and handsome is great, but what if tall, dark, and handsome is an actor? In LA, there's a lot of that. You can get tall. If you've ever seen a casting call, if they say we need tall, dark, and handsome, it can be ordered.
Okay, let me clarify that. My number one is not tall, dark, and handsome. My number one is successful.
Gotcha.
That is my biggest aphrodisiac.
So just keep looking for the people who are in the world of you that will understand that. And if you go too far out, then they may be intimidated by it. So that's how we've had on the show, is that they either, like, say we're setting up a celebrity, and we do
Right.
that a lot this year.
Yeah.
If they don't understand, relationships, if they don't understand celebrity or television or any of that, then they may be a good person that matches up with them, but they may not be comfortable with that world. So they got to be comfortable.
Okay.
So somebody for you needs to be successful, of course, independent, but then can also have time and understand your world. So you gotta look at the vein that you're in and kind of
So you think
snoop
somebody in
around
my
there.
industry? I have not really.
Maybe
thought
even
of that.
LinkedIn could be a really great place for you.
I actually get a lot of date requests off of LinkedIn.
That doesn't
It's kinda
surprise
funny.
me. Look, read the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
They're same industries. People can see your career and see you, and they're attracted to that.
But there's
and
only
you're
one
attract-
picture, and everybody can take one good picture.
Well, that's what
See,
dates are
but that's
for.
the part. So I feel like
but the butts and the butts.
yeah.
You're
I just get so, and I don't. I don't know if it's my, I've talked to Paula, is a student of Dr. Pat's as well, and she's a friend of mine, and she said something when she came on the show about she wanted to stop being the, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this. But where does that meet but I have preferences, and I really would like to meet a guy that thinks that I'm funny and that I think he's
you
funny.
are funny.
My husband never thought so, which is why we're really happy that there's a thing called divorce. But it's that I'm, and I tell my clients this too. Just keep doing what you're doing. And anyone who's actually called in about relationship and is listening to this show, I'm going to get shot. Because it's do what I say, not what I do. Practice. I don't necessarily practice what I preach when it comes to romance. But it is, I believe that, my takeaway with you is, yes, there is someone, at least one someone for everyone.
There is.
And that the likelihood that I'm going to meet them if I don't spend time going out and being in my passion and doing the things that I like to do are pretty slim.
But you also have to do the work. And women, I feel like are so guilty of this list. If I could burn the list of every woman, I think it would liberate you so much.
Okay.
Because the list sometimes inhibits you in a way that you don't see it, but everyone around you can see it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So if you here's the thing. It's New Year's Eve. Here's my parting advice for you.
Okay.
Date fearlessly. Go into relationships and dating fearlessly. Don't worry about A, B, C, D, E, F, G on the list. Just go out there and make yourself vulnerable. What have you got to lose? You're uncomfortable.
Time is the most precious commodity that I have. So
what else is on your list? So you got time.
Yeah.
I
get it.
Okay.
But we're running up against time, so
Sure.
I do want to ask you this
that
question. that kind of question. Yeah, no.
Okay.
I've already been married and divorced. I do everything once, so
Yes.
I'm good. I do know that relationships give you something that you cannot get anywhere else.
Yeah.
The romantic relationship, but on chemistry. So when you do meet someone at first glance, and you don't want to, jump their bones.
Right.
There's no chemistry. It's
agree.
done.
Yes.
Right. So why do we even have a coffee? We're past dinner dates, right? Why do we even have to sit, like you said, and sit and have coffee and talk about nothing? So is it correct that if you don't feel that chemistry at first glance, that it's a sign that it's not going to go anywhere? So just walk away.
Depending on how you met the first time.
Well, if it's a blind date.
If it's a blind date, well, I mean, first of all, my thing is always go for coffee. I don't like people going on cocktail drink dates or dinner dates. There's too much pressure, and there's a lot of investment for what may not be a good return. Okay. So coffee dates I always suggest. You sit there, and if you do have chemistry, then proceed to dinner. Okay. You can pass go at that point.
But I don't know. Coffees take a long time.
Hey.
It's terrible.
No. Remember, it's a business. You're in the business of love. This interview, I only have a half an hour for this interview. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Why? You sit and have coffee, and if there is chemistry, then go for it. I want to leave this with you. Yeah. I know we're running short on time, but a girlfriend of mine who was just notoriously single for such a long time finally went online. Bad date after bad date after bad date, and she finally called me up one day and said, I can't do this anymore. I have 2 more people to see. I'm going to cancel the one at lunch today, coffee. And but I think this last one I'll do. And after this one, if it's not good, I'm done. I'm done. She ended up marrying that guy.
Oh, wow.
You don't know, but you just got to put yourself out there.
Okay. Now let's go back to another moose on the table. When you're talking about when you think you're a 12
it's a
and
crowded
you're actually
table moose.
Yeah, that's my Canadian version of elephant in the room. Yeah.
Okay.
Big moose. So if someone's a 5 and they think they're a 12, and so they're looking to date 12s, how do you tell them that they're not a 12? And how
you tell them they're a 5.
And
have you seen our show? you are a 5 and you want a 12,
But
you're not
that's-
going to get that.
But that's like so cruel. And I, in my own experience, my brother actually said that to me one time. He goes,
He didn't say you were a
he
5.
Did.
Well,
He didn't
honey,
say
you're
I
not
was
a
a 5. He didn't say I was a 5, but he said you're wanting to date men that are above you in looks. And I went, oh.
Well,
I love my brother, but I'm like tempted to ask you what number I am, but I'm afraid of what you're going to say. And so it's that, isn't it true that you should be, isn't everybody a 10?
Everybody is a 10. You're right.
Everybody's a 10, but there's a 10-10 match and there's a 5-10.
There's a.
I'm just trying to get this. I'm trying to get the formula.
Well, I think that, I mean, we're going to try to cram our expertise into, a few minutes, which is impossible. But I think, like, when you're dating, we have to sit down with you and figure out who all the, these people are that you like in this one perfect partner of yours, and then decide where your number is and where his number is. And I think that's where we can come up with some numbers. But let's just take Hugh Jackman for a second. I talk about this a lot with my friends. Hugh Jackman's wife is not a 12 or a 20, and he's in many scales like a 10, 12, 20, whatever. He's up there. But that's not what he wants. So you're a 10, 12, 20 for a lot of people. And don't forget that. It's just trying to find the guy that you want that will match up to your 10, 12, 20.
Okay. So it's a personal, not personal thing.
No, there's some obvious, hunchback of Notre Dame's out there that think they're going to get, Barbie next door. But there's some obvious ones. You're not one of those.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. Okay.
No. Never.
Yeah. So who would you set me up with?
Ooh, I definitely would set you up with somebody in the industry.
Okay.
I think and I use this loosely.
He's loose.
The I think there's some red ties in your future. I think you're misleading me. Never read the book.
I'm serious. I
think you'd like the book.
Really?
I like it.
I just, I've thought about bringing the topic on for sexual healing, but I just don't understand how humiliation and bondage actually is a turn on. But that's another show. Maybe I'm going to have you come on for that.
I'll be back.
Yeah. So come on. So you would match me with someone in the industry.
Definitely.
And then someone, I know I'm asking for a lot, but
No.
how would you do that?
Well, go where they run.
Okay.
Again, there's networking mixers. There are events that you can go to.
Oh, I know. I got the final closing question for you.
Okay.
Is there an antidote for many, many people say, the ones that I'm attracted to, they don't come to me. It's the ones that I'm not attracted to that come and follow me all over. So what is that about?
Well, no. Crazy's just out there. We talked about this at the top of the show. Okay.
So, but isn't that like a phenomena?
Yeah, I think so.
Isn't that? Have you never had that?
You know why?
Why?
The crazy are the most daring. Imagine if we were a little crazy, we'd go after everything that we wanted. But the crazy are the most daring.
Okay. All right. Where can we
need a little
find
crazy.
Bravo? What time is Millionaire Matchmaker?
9 p.m. We are on a break right now.
Okay.
We'll come back the first week of January and 9 p.m. on Thursdays.
9 p.m. on Thursdays.
Yes.
So put your TiVo on it or watch it live. We'll see our beloved David Cruz, Finding Cupid, now Millionaire Matchmaker team. Hi, Patty. Hi, Dr. Pat. And thank you so much for coming on
You're
the
welcome.
air
Thank you for having
and
me.
your expertise. And I am renewed in I don't know what, but I am renewed.
In thought.
In
You're renewed
thought.
in thought.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Yay! And we are stepping up into our balance bar announcements. And this is where I get to give away and live up to my Asian Oprah honorable moniker. Today I'm giving away a DVD. It is Balance Tai Qigong. It's a 28-minute moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. And if you come and enroll, it is that time of the year where I teach a class at Agape International Spiritual Center starting January 10th. And it's a 5-week class. So you will be able to learn this ancient Chinese secret practice that I put Tai Chi, Qigong, and a little bit of balance treatment so that you can get out of that critical head that keeps you sabotaged. So please join me. You can register at agapelive.com, or for more information, just contact me at forbalance.org. Thank you to my station managers, Tony and Bill, sound engineers, Carlos, Mia, and my assistant producer, Jarvis Essex, and sound engineer, both at my UBN and KCAA families. For an entire year of program, I am truly grateful. And this is, I think, my 135th show, and I've only been on the air a little over 2.5 years, so very grateful. And round 43 of the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa starts on January 1st, and this started July 1st, 2011. So we are ready now for an app. So if you go to GoFundMe and want to be a co-producer of the app, and for $5 you get the free app, and as well the bragging rights to say that you were on the ground floor with Dr. Marissa with the 21-day fast from complaining. And let's see, where am I? That is it. Next week, because it is the New Year's program, we are going to have a call-in about New Year's resolutions. So if you would like to have Dr. Marissa cheerlead you into the new year with some balance tools that help keep you on track with your resolutions, then please do contact Jarvis Essex, my assistant producer, and he will put you not on hold and give you a time slot. And that's it. You are tuned into and about to tune out, but come back for Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa Pay. That's P for positive, EI. And remember, it's all about balance. Peace in and peace out.
How do you prepare a young teen for the sexual culture they're growing up in today? Science teacher Dave Beck's hilarious and harrowing book, They Asked You What?